Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Okay, episode 82 of the Talk and Power podcast. And we have some special guests in the studio. None other than Alister McRae. Alister, thanks for joining us.
How you doing, boys?
And Denver Parker's come in to help out.
Yeah.
He's back. And Todd as usual.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Hey, Alister, we'll kick off. We'll get stuck into this one. For those that are uninitiated, and you'd have to be pretty uninitiated, I would suggest, not to know the McRae family. I think anyone that's even my parents who know nothing about cars would know of the McRae family. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and you find yourself in lovely Western Australia these days.
Yeah, I've been here for 13 years now. Well, as you said, the McRae family names have been involved in motorsport for a long time. My dad was rallying when I was growing up. He had a plumbing and heating business, but then his hobby was rallying, which turned into profession, although he kept the business going. So he was 5 times British champion. Myself and my brother Colin both started rallying obviously when we were 17, both into bikes prior to that. Colin was British champion, then World champion, and then myself British and Asian Pacific, and managed to make a career out of it for pretty much 20 years professional. So to turn your hobby into profession, and for 3 out of the same family to do that, it's pretty special, and obviously got the name pretty well known throughout the world.
No, certainly.
The question is, you've been in WA for 13 years. What brought you to WA? It's a lovely place. We can all vouch for that. But how'd you end up here, Alister?
I was just cruising around and thought, this is a nice place.
Oh, well, that sounds good.
No, I met my now wife when we were here rallying back in '99, I think it was. Get the dates right. We did get married in Scotland, had kids there, but then when I stopped competing in the World Championship, when that all kind of quietened down, I was looking at doing some stuff in the Asian Pacific. Always loved coming to Perth. I like the outdoor lifestyle, so to be able to go jet skiing, mountain biking, motorbiking, a bit of rallying, and have some sunshine, which you don't get a lot of in Scotland if you've ever been there. It was just a great opportunity for Targa to come back nearer our family, and then to bring kids up. I wouldn't say there's a better place around than Perth.
Yeah, and I've seen some of your stuff on social media, sort of living up near the beach and going up to the dunes and doing all those things interesting, which is, yeah, we have a lot to offer in Perth. We sometimes take it for granted, don't we?
Yeah, I think you do. when you live anywhere, you do take it for granted. I mean, for me, Scotland, I would say Scotland will always be home, where I was born and brought up. But
yeah.
when you travel around, there's a lot of places that have got great things, but Perth seems to have pretty much, from day-to-day life, Perth's got everything you really need.
Yeah.
And it's, as you say, motorsport-wise, are, for me, hobbies, so motorbikes and jet skis and a bit of cars and stuff, it's all very close, which is good.
That's good to hear. So, actually, on the spot question, what part of Scotland are you from?
Central, between Glasgow and Edinburgh, probably slightly closer to Glasgow, but central Scotland.
Well, there you go. Now I know. So, and look, while we're talking about your family living over here, your son Max is doing multiple things at the moment. Did you want to give Max a bit of a plug and let us know what he's up to? I saw he was doing F1000 the other day up at Wanneroo, and I saw you just the other week down at Kwinana, and you're in the passenger seat, Alister. I was a bit shocked, to tell you the truth.
I'll give anything a go once. I mean, he's been karting since he was kind of 7 years old. So he's been, I think, twice state champion. He's won the West Australian Cup or Championship 5 times, I think, and pretty much every class he's driven in. So he's always been karting. Does a bit of motorbiking, similar to myself. But his thing's always been he wants to go rallying. He wants to try and carry on the family name. But through the karting side, he got the chance to enter for the RI's racing competition to basically find a driver, which they ran last year. So did that. He's won that, and that gives him the opportunity to drive one of the RI's F1000s, in the WA Championship. So he's doing that. Had a real good run in his first race. Slight mechanical problem put him back, but his quickest lap times in the 2 races he finished, and got from the back of the grid to 4th, then up to 2nd. So did a real good job there. And we're also doing a little bit of rallying as well. He started with the Tarmac rally sprints down at Kwinana, which we saw you at.
Yeah.
And then we've just done a bit of testing on the gravel for the kind of first proper test on a gravel with the Fiesta. So he's getting a bit of diversification in his driving, and at only 15 I'm not convinced he knows how lucky he is, but he's doing a really good job.
Do you have one of those emergency brake pedals on your side of the car?
No, it's vice grips right about there.
We'll have to get the video for that one, yeah, people.
Basically grab him by the bollocks if he doesn't do his told.
No, you guys seem to do pretty well the other night, so...
Yeah, he does. He seems to jump into things. He's natural at driving, for sure. And I think, the go-kart, and anything, for me, the go-kart and riding motorbikes, it all helps, no matter what you do. And as a kid, you tend to take it in very quickly, a lot quicker than we do. So he seems to be able to adjust, whether it's the racetrack or in the gravel at the weekend. He drove really well, so it's good, and I enjoy it. It's good to see, even as you say, in the co-driver seat. I wouldn't say my pace note reading's the best, but he's not got enough experience to know I'm making a lot of it up.
Fair enough. So just go here, turn left, a bit faster, you're good.
I know, the problem was I tend to watch his driving too much, then realise I don't know where I am in the pace note page. But at Kwinana I've done it a few times, so I can kind of look up and just I'll make it up as I go along.
Good to hear. So
it's an interesting point you raised, but I mean, talent is not. It's obviously inherent in your family line, and driving talent. Can you expand on that a bit? Because I mean, at the end of the day, my father had no following in automobiles or anything like that, and so my talent is. I know where my talent is, but tell us, how does that flow on through the family?
I mean, I guess it's what you're brought up, what's round about you, and what you do from a young age. I mean, my dad hadn't done any rallying at all until he was I think 31 when he did his first rally. He'd ridden motorbikes and did a bit of motocross, or it was scrambles it was called back then, and then stopped all that when he started his own business because he couldn't afford to injure himself.
Yep.
And then got that up and running. Then it was a friend of his just said, do you want to come along and watch this rallying? And he said, well, what's it all about? So he went and watched that and thought, I'll have a go, and was good straight away. So for him, there was no lead up to it, but then obviously for Colin, for myself, we watched that. We rode motorbikes. If you could get a day off school and go testing with my dad, then you would do that. So I guess if it's all round about you, if you're round about somebody that plays soccer or Aussie rules, then you're going to go down that route. So I think it's maybe that, or it's something in the water back in Scotland. I don't know.
I would suggest it is in the water. Dan, would you?
Oh, I don't know. My dad told me he'd teach me how to drive one day and blew the clutch out of my WRX. So sometimes it does and it doesn't.
Yeah. No, fair enough. It's just an interesting observation.
I got told an expensive waste of time by my late father, but then just before he passed away, he went, actually, you're doing pretty well with some of that stuff, so enjoy it. So, change the scenario, but...
Yeah, no, certainly. I think, my family was never interested in cars at all. So, but I grew up with an interest in cars, but I didn't have the talent. Never have, never will. But luckily, I identified that at an early age. To be honest,
mind you, truth be told, and I was going to share this story later. It was actually my dad's interest in WRC that got me interested. Back in 94, 95, going back a long time ago. Said to me, got a surprise, we're going out for the day. We went out into Mundaring and watched it all afternoon, and then we went the year after and the year after that, and then he said, you're old enough to drive, you go by yourself now. And that's pretty much what I did. Went and watched it every year. It was in Australia, and every year from there on. So
well, we were much the same. My father, when Rally Australia first came to Perth, what was it, 87 or 88? It was a fair while ago.
88 seems to ring a bell.
Yeah, because we used to go forward driving fairly regularly up in where all the tracks were up in the forest. We drove up there and sort of backtracked into a road closure, and the guy looked at us and went, "How'd you get here?" But yeah, that was how we all started, in those days. So parents definitely helped there.
So, Alister, you sort of touched briefly on your rally career, but how did you get your start from bikes into the British Championship, and then I had a read of your sort of bio last night. You've done a lot. Can you expand and also condense it a bit? Does that make sense? No.
Could be here for a while.
I've got to ask though. It says a Nissan Sunny. Was that a GTI-R?
Thank you.
No, it was the GTI, the British Championship, and I'll get this right. The end of '93.
Yep.
They went 2-wheel drive. So for '94 was 2-wheel drive. So it was the GTI. So 2 litre.
Yep. Minus the rear diff.
Yeah, minus the rear diff. Yeah. But no, I mean, I started on. I did trials, then motocross, and then even when I turned 17, I continued on racing bikes or motocross. But then injured my knee for the second time and decided I would have a go at the rallying thing. I would have always had a go in rallying for sure, but I enjoyed bikes and still do a lot. And from then it was basically, like any sport, you start at the bottom. So it was the Scottish Championship with a Vauxhall Nova, which would be your Holden Barina, I believe.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
And then worked from there up until I got the chance, and the first kind of big break for me was in '92, where Shell did a scholarship, and there were six finalists. A lot of guys that went on to become works drivers. So I won that, which gave me a kind of funded drive in the British Championship in Group N in the Sarah Cosworth, which we won Group N, and then 3 years later, condensing it down a bit, won the British Championship with the Sunny. And then from then on it was a mixture of the British and World rounds with Formula 2, which was 2-wheel drive, before eventually getting into the WRC with Hyundai, full time with Formula 2 to start with, then the WRC car. There, Mitsubishi, various rallies around the world, Asian Pacific Championship with Proton for 3 years, which was good. So it's kind of spread from 92 through to 2012 full time, and then since then I've still continued on. I still enjoy driving. Don't do any full championships now, but when you get the opportunity to drive cars, it's always something I like to do.
Yeah, I remember back in the day you jumping in the Hyundai, and a few of my mates and I sort of looked at each other and went, Hyundai, who were they? And look, you did pretty well at the time, we all thought.
I mean that the car then was, I think for me, if they had, it's like anything, you've got to have the budget, and when you're fighting against Toyota and Subaru and Ford, all these guys that have been in it for years, to come in as a new manufacturer is not easy, and it takes a lot. You probably need to spend more money than what Peugeot and Citroen, these guys were sending, and the money wasn't there, but there was enough budget to certainly get people to sit up and take notice. And by the end of it, it was getting to the point where we could finish in the top 5 of WRC events, which was pretty good after 2 years on what would be a relatively small budget.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably said the same thing about Skoda when they came over here, and I think they almost podiumed, didn't they?
Yeah.
Until they tried to change the clutch and it all went sideways.
That wasn't so good. Yeah. No, I think nowadays it's the expense of getting involved in the sport probably puts a few manufacturers off. The FIA try to bring costs down like any motorsport, but there's a certain cost you can't take out of it. And to be competitive, if you've got manufacturers been in it for a while, then to catch up's not easy.
Yeah, fair enough. And look, just quickly, the Mitsubishi days. Like, I'm a Mitsubishi fanboy myself, but
I read this in the notes, Todd.
What?
You would have been drooling about this part.
Yeah, look, what was that like driving it was an Evo 7, wasn't it, at the time?
The Evo 7, yeah. I mean, for me, that was what I thought was going to be the next step up in the WRC, but I reckon I got to the right team at the wrong time, pretty much, because when we arrived, Mitsubishi, when it went to WRC in '97, Mitsubishi stayed with the Group A car for a number of years, and probably stayed for too long. So by the time they changed to the WRC car, it was a kind of Group A WRC hybrid, if you want to call it that, rather than an all-in-out new WRC car. And at that point, there was plans for another WRC2, which did come along when I was there. But by that time, I think they'd fallen behind just a little bit, and then in the headquarters themselves with Mitsubishi, there was Mercedes bought into the company, and they changed the management structure, and one of the things that got dropped was rallying. So what should have been the next step in the career came to a bit of a stop rather quickly, which wasn't the best thing.
Oh, that's no good. So I did sort of read you ran your own car for a little while after that, a production car as such.
Yeah, I did in 2004. Did just the PWRC, so Production World Championship, with a private team out of the UK, RED. So that was basically just to try and get, there was no, at the point when Mitsubishi pulled out, they also dropped, the teams all dropped from 3 drivers to 2 to cut costs. So all of a sudden, in kind of 2000, 2001, there was plenty of drives available, but then by 2003, they'd lost one manufacturer, they'd lost a seat in each team, so it was difficult to get a job or get a drive. So we went kind of privateer with RED and did the championship, and basically it was between 3 or 4 of us could win it here in Australia, but we had to win the event, and we were leading the event by, I think we had about 2.5 minutes lead. For me, the last day was up in Mundaring. The first 2 stages there were always pretty tricky, but that was me. I knew if I could get them out of the way, we had 3 stages down in what they used to call the bunning stages. So I was quite confident, get the 2 of them out of the way, no punctures, then we can pretty much cruise through Bunnings, which we did do, and then the first 2 in the morning, but then on the first stage in Bunning, the rear diff blew. So that was it, finished. So we went from leading the event and potentially, the Group N World Championship to going for a beer.
Fair enough. I think Demmer and I have been up to the old Bunnings multiple times. Yeah, several times back in the day. Reminiscing a lot with Alister, if you can't tell. Reminiscing a lot about the old.
The stages down there are really good, but obviously the part that everybody remembers is the jumps and going down to the finish. Fairly spectacular, and there's a lot of footage of that over the years, so it was always good to end down there.
And I've got to ask, going from WRC or PRC style on Group A events to Dakar, which is the endurance of endurance events, how does that compare to either sort?
It's a completely different thing, and mentally I probably struggled for the first few days, the first year I did it. Because in a WRC event or any 1 or 2 event, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's a sprint event, so you're absolutely on it from the start to the finish, no matter what. Whereas when I did the Dakar, it was a privateer team, so the car wasn't capable of being driven flat out for 9,000 kilometres, so you did have to drive a lot in reserve, and for me that was alien. It was like I was confused for about the first half of the rally, but a great experience, and it's probably not till you get to the end of a Dakar that you actually realise you did enjoy it. You go through it all thinking, what's confused with this, what's it for, but when you actually get to the end and realise what you have done, then that's when you realise that you've done a hell of a lot. It's changed now. The cars now with the works teams, they are driving pretty much flat out now, so I think it has changed in that fact. But 15 years ago in a small team, it was a bit different.
Before the days it was all GPS tracked, and you knew where you were going over the dunes instead of point and hope for the best.
But even although they've got the GPS in the car, you don't actually use that. It's still done off road book and headings, compass headings, and then the GPS only basically comes in when you've locked in. You're within a 3k radius of the waypoint you've got to pick up. So you're on compass headings, road book, and then when you get within that radius it comes on, you go to the waypoint, you get the waypoint, and the GPS turns off again. So there's no GPS tracking or anything on it. It's all basically,
it's old school.
Yeah, it's old school, that's part of the enjoyment of it.
There you go. I learned something. Sorry, we're all sitting here looking at Alister in shock right now, going, "Wow!" So
I didn't realise that myself either. There's compass and road map.
Sailors have a job then.
So, Alister, when you're not doing the dizzying heights of WRC or otherwise, I know I've seen you in a couple of Targa West events in the past, driving Porsches and the like. You popped up at Leadfoot Festival in the last few years and won them. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, I still enjoy driving cars.
Yeah.
So the chance to drive kind of anywhere and drive something different appeals to me. So obviously I've done Targa West twice. We've done quite a bit in New Zealand, done some events up in China in the last few years as well. The Leadfoots, that came about initially. The first one I did down there for Vantage that owned the car. Kenneth Eriksson used to do drive for them in the Race to the Sky, and the event stopped, but then they brought the event back again in 2015, and Kenneth reckoned that he was too old for that now, so Craig Vincent, he contacted him to see if he'd be interested, and you know, the car is genuinely a WRC car from '99 but with 800 horsepower. So
wow.
To get the opportunity to drive that was a definite. That's something you want to do, and from there I've ended up, you know, the last 5 years I've done quite a bit with Vantage and with the Subaru, whether it be Leadfoot, Ashley Forest Hill Climb, Race to the Sky, and some corporate stuff for them as well. So that car's it's an awesome car to drive. It's got a lot of history down in New Zealand, so
Yeah.
You don't want to damage it, and I seem to have been given the job of the one that can look after it, but I'm always myself that I crash it.
Yeah, I was about to say the rally nerd in me noticed the number plates on that car of Rog,
yeah,
which is quite a throwback to those in the know. So yeah.
No, these all that stuff, and then I should have been down in Otago in 2 weeks' time with the Mark II Escort, but that's obviously with the current coronavirus. That's put pay to that. So we'll get 1 or 2 events in this year, and the likes of, if they do run Goodwood Festival of Speed, things like that I go back and do, which is great to catch up with old mates. And
that's where I'm supposed to be going. I hope they run it.
Yeah,
So.
I've just heard they cancelled the TT. TT, so that's June. So if that's gone, then
it's not looking promising, unfortunately.
No.
So
well, the Bunnings Snag got the chop today, so
that's
it. I'm over.
That's what you're going to do on a Sunday now, eh?
Actually, that's good. A lot of Alister knows what the bunny snag is. Of course. Thank you. You know you're Australian when.
Is that not called going to the church on Sunday?
Yeah, thank you.
That's right.
No, it's the pub.
Can you just, because I'm not initiated, so
Okay.
Rog, fill us in with...
Roger Freeth was Possum-born co-driver,
Okay.
and he was actually killed here in Australia, and I'm not sure what year that was.
Oh, I think it was about
98 maybe.
Yeah,
So the car, that car that I drive down New Zealand is obviously Possum's the last car he had and drove, so it's always runs with, or he always ran from then on, he always ran with that registration number on it. So
Okay, there you go.
yeah,
So there you go, Nick.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, thank you, Alister.
no problem.
So
Rogers was the one, correct from ringing, he was the one who generated pace notes as they pretty much stand today with the numbering and all the rest of it.
Yeah, he was a bit of a boffin, was Roger. Yeah, good guy.
Very clued in.
look back to the other night. I noticed Dirtfish written on the car you and Max were driving. Is that you've got a bit of a relationship with Dirtfish as well, do you? Or
I've got relationships all around the world.
look, that's good to hear.
No, I'm only kidding. No, I've got Dirtfish is a rally school out in America.
Yeah.
But it's owned by an English guy called Steve Rimmer, which I've kind of met on and off through the years, and then I did a bit of work with them out in America when they run their junior rallycross team, so doing a bit of kind of coaching, tuition with them, and he's got a massive car collection with quite a few Collins cars, so the likes of Goodwood and these places I'll go and drive the cars for him. So it's just through that, and his love of motorsport. He wants to be involved, and I've convinced him to come along as a sponsor with Max, and hopefully we get the benefit and he gets the benefit, and then we all do what we love as rallying.
Yeah, I have seen a bit of Dirtfish on TV, and it's sort of on my list to get over there one day and go have a go. So it looks pretty full on out there.
Yeah,
so.
I mean they've now kind of stepped up from the rally school. They've got their kind of own media outlet, if you want to call it that, for WRC and Rallycross, and so
Wow.
they started that this year. So they're on every WRC round. They'll be on every WRX, World Rallycross, and American rallying as well. So they're kind of trying to cover motorsport through social media, videos, or everything like that.
I said you do live in sunny Perth now, and you run the Driver Risk Management Centre along with Kim Ledger, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So can you tell us a bit about what that is? A lot of us remember it as the old, how do I name it?
D-Tech and RAC.
Yeah, do I have to be careful who I say on air, or what? But yes,
There they go.
yeah. We'll say MC Motorsport. How about
Yeah,
that? That's a bit of a shout out to Matt Cherry. So anyway, yeah.
No, I mean, basically, I was involved with a company in 2009. We started a driver training company here, Speedaway. Myself and business partner, which we ran for, he ran it for longer. I was involved for 5 years, and then sold out to him. And then probably 2 years ago, just through people I know and looking at something else to do, then I was thinking about getting back into the driver training industry again, and went to see Kim because he'd been in the same. So we just basically kind of sat down and had a chat about it. We do have the opportunity in a property out near Billsbrook to replicate what was at the airport, because it had been closed down. So we started working towards that, and then working towards it, we managed somehow to get the facility opened up again. So, I'm sure you guys know there's the 1.5k track there, Tarmac track. There's the skid pans, 4-wheel drive areas.
Many laps of that place.
So no, it's a facility that's shouldn't be sitting empty very much. It's changed a bit as to what we can run. Motorsport, noise restrictions and all that is a bit of a sore point. So we're trying to build it back up as best we can, and get as many people there as possible. But it's basically back in the driver training segment, bit of performance driver training, trying to bring in some new technologies with its eMentor and with simulators. We've got racecraft simulators down there, so it's a kind of new project, but building all the time.
No, that's good to hear. I did see the other day you had the finals for the racecraft simulators or something, I think.
Yeah, John Lee that runs racecraft. He's over all that, so he's working as an entertainment business, and he's also at the moment helping us trying to develop some driver training software for it as well. So we want to try and do a bit of both. There's definitely the way the simulators move and how accurate they are now and realistic. You can use it for testing or practicing prior to moving in. I mean, I took Max down there before he drove the Radical in the competition, and I'm old school. Like, I get sick when I sit in a simulator, which is a bit embarrassing.
He was bad as me. You get at the first corner and straight into the wall.
Pretty much. So but I took Max down and sat and watched him driving it, and could actually, teach him. I couldn't do it as quickly as he could, but I could actually teach him the techniques and what to do. So we want to try and bring that side of it in, whether it's young kids coming from karting through to cars, or just general road use. Like, that's what we're working in software for defensive driving on general road use. So there's a great tool, and we'll use it as much as we can for sure.
Oh, excellent.
Just your personal thoughts on that, like where we're at the moment in terms of children getting their licence these days in Western Australia, having to do 50 hours. I think that's going to be increasing to 120 hours on road. I see the benefit in what you guys do down at the driver training centre. Are you working towards getting that kind of legislated?
Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect scenario, is that we can run courses there that basically go against your hours now, whether that's simulation and a mixture. We want to do a mixture of simulation and on the track or the skid pans or whatever. But if you look at the 50 hours, it depends who's sitting with you for that 50 hours to whether there's much benefit of it. So that's you can be getting 50 hours of bad advice, whereas if it's done professionally and I guess the way we want to do it, then hopefully we can put drivers on the road that are more prepared and better suited to what the road conditions are and so on.
Because I would argue 50 hours with a parent is arguably not a good way to spend 50 hours.
No, well, because you're going to pick up their habits, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like not merging or using an indicator.
Sign language.
10 under the limit.
Yeah.
And they're about to increase that too. I'm led to believe that's been increased 50 to it's going to be more than double that. But I think that's even more opportunities to pick up poor habits, and I think that's where it needs to get to, is like some sort of legislation where we're required to do X amount of hours in a proper facility like yours.
Yeah. I think the good thing about the facility, the driving centre, is that you can actually do it before you get to that 16 years old and get your L plates. You can actually do a fair bit prior to that prepares you for it. Then, when you do it in a safe environment, you can be the only one out there on the skid pan or the only one on the track. You can actually learn in a safe environment and not put other people at danger. But the important thing is making the hours valuable. As you say, you have 50 hours of nonsense, then it's not ideal. So,
no, certainly not.
So we're working towards that, and we are speaking with government agencies about all that, but things move slowly.
Oh, they do, yeah. Do you also have the facility with the cars with the dollies as well, where you can lift the rear? Or
we don't have that. They were all gone.
Okay.
When we took over. It was pretty much a bare shell. So we're just building things back up over time, but we don't have them at the moment.
Yeah. No, it was a good. I went in there a number of times myself as well.
Yeah.
Did the MC Motorsport thing one time. Did the Camrys on the dolly as well another time. The MR2s as well. I think that was MC Motorsport too.
Yeah.
At the time. Yeah. And it was great facility, and I'm glad to hear it. We were really saddened when we learnt that it was closed for that period of time. So now that it's up and running again, I think that's great.
Yeah. No, we're looking forward to building it up and getting more people through the door.
No, certainly.
What was the least time, current world events aside, that's probably going to extend it a couple of years, but how much longer before they were planning to plough the runway through that sort of property was there? Yeah,
I mean, at the moment they don't really know. There's the idea. I think the idea was when the last tenant left that it would basically be a runway, it wouldn't ever get used again, but that has been delayed, so we're in there for 5 years,
probably a couple extra now,
and then hopefully we can extend that after that. So we'd like to be in there for a fairly long time.
No, certainly.
No, that's good. Going to be any lift on sort of the motorsport out there anytime soon, or again the noise complaints is what's keeping it?
We've got to run under their environmental plan, which brings in noise levels. So we're as you know, you can have a car that goes quickly that doesn't make noise, or you can have a car that's going slowly and makes a lot of noise. So we just need to, if people work with us and we try and keep the noise down, then for sure we can get performing cars on there, but we just have to be mindful of the neighbours. Yeah,
fair enough. Actually, one thing I do know, while the driver training centre sat sort of vacant for a while, there were some guys testing electric cars out there. Now, electric cars are a hot topic on our podcast all the time, pros and cons. Have you had much to do with those guys at all? Have they kind of gone and done their own thing since then, or? No, we've not. We do have the RAC tester. They're in Telebus there, so they're autonomous driving stuff. But we have had one or two electric cars there, and hopefully we're going to have a bit more there in the future. But we've not had an awful lot to do with it yet. But then I think that's something that will come for sure, whether we like it or not. I was about to say, what's your opinion on the electric car? Was that for a whole other segment for another time, is it? I mean, I think for me, performance-wise, like if you jump into an electric car and the performance it's got, it's pretty amazing. Yeah. But it's lacking noise. Is that a polite way of putting it? Yeah, I like that. No, I mean, I think it's going to come at some point, but I think it's a bit further off than what people believe, and I'm not convinced we're ready to convert to electric cars just yet. No, I think we're sort of under the same impression here amongst... There's nothing wrong with breathing a bit of fumes now and again. Yes.
So some doctors would disagree. But,
What do they know?
You know, the CEO of Formula E asked Michael Andretti if he could interview his father Mario, and Michael said, "You might want to rethink that."
this might go poorly for you.
I can see that happening. So
I was at the top of the hill in Goodwood last year, and when the Volkswagen set the new record.
yeah,
But they run the top 20 shootout, and you're standing there, and you can hear them coming up through the trees, the noise. You obviously get the noise of V12s and God knows all what, and they're arriving, and there's flames and smoke, and it gets your blood going. It's good.
Yeah.
And then the first and second place came in. That was the Chinese car. What the hell was that? But it came in just like a Dyson Hoover. Stop. And then the Volkswagen blitzed the record. It was the same thing. It's like zzz, stop. Didn't quite have it.
It didn't. Does it? I've even that Pikes Peak, I think, it holds a record now as well.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Tarmac record anyway. And,
Yeah. It would make a good spectator sport because you'd be able to hear the commentary at least.
yeah.
good point.
So they actually were testing it the other day on a we'll call it a British motoring show. We probably can't name for various reasons, but they put a driver in it at a now I can't remember the track, but yeah, he said it was fast but it was out of battery within 2.5 laps.
Oh, was that the
Chris Harris?
The
Yeah.
Nürburgring
Yeah,
record?
that's
It? Yeah.
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 So
There's a long way to go with it, I think.
yeah, exactly. Actually, Goodwood. I've been lucky enough to be there. I mean, if you're a driver there, which is something awesome, Alister, if you ask me. What is Goodwood like? Like, can you sell it to the people? Because I never shut up about it, and I was there last 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think for now, I mean, in the last probably 7 or 8 years, it's grown even more. It's now classed as the kind of motor show and motorsport show in the UK.
Yeah.
So you get over the 4 days, I think that some like 400,000 people go, and you've got cars from God knows what, old 1906 cars that they sit there with their leather helmet on, and then right through to Formula 1 cars, to the latest electric cars, motorbikes, rally cars. It's anybody that's into vehicles at all, whether it's motorsport or just vehicles, then it's something special. And you need to go. I mean, when I go driving there, I never get a chance to go and look round properly. But if you were going to actually just go and see the whole show, you would need to allow yourself 2 or 3 days, because it's you can't actually cover it off. There's so much going on.
Yeah, we did 3, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So,
So there's not many events you go to that. For me, I've not got what do you call it? An attention span's not that great for me.
Yeah.
It drops off quite quickly if it's not going fast. So if I go to a show, I'm bored very quickly. But with that one there, you could spend days there easily. So for me, that would be that's saying it's a good event.
oh, there you go. Good to hear. Have you done the gravel section out the back as well, or?
Yeah, I generally spend the day up there. We get kicked up in the back corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're the poor cousins. Run around in gravel, getting hot and dusty.
Yeah, you gotta walk all the way up the hill or catch the bus up the top, and yeah.
They don't get a lot of TV coverage up there, but
No, they
the
don't.
TV coverage goes up there for a little while, but not long
No,
enough.
No, I've driven. I generally drive the hill a few times, and then up at the rally stage, so I get to see both of it, which is good.
Oh, that's excellent. So no, it is a good event. Again, when the world returns to normal, which we hopefully will say soonish.
Yeah.
Go check out Goodwood. See Alister over there if everything goes to plan. Otherwise, might be next year for everybody involved. But
yeah, we're not sure at the moment.
we're not sure.
Who knows what's going to happen
Yeah,
next?
but it is quite a good event. I've never been anywhere where you literally can walk through the pits and even talk to some other drivers and rub shoulders, and then they just go, "Oh, I've got to drive now," and they jump in the car and nick off, and you're like, "Oh, cool, thank you." Like there's no princesses, so to speak, out there. They're just, I'm here to drive and have fun, and you always have to watch out for getting run over from 800 horsepower rotary monsters and F1 cars, and it's quite a scene. So,
Even NASCARs, can you believe NASCARs?
I can. They do the best burnouts up the hill.
Even the trucks as well, the NASCAR trucks are there as well.
Except for Ken Blogg when he throws it completely sideways into the lawn and
that was
Mad Mike.
No,
No?
the wrestler.
It was the 767 went in a few years ago as well.
Oh, that's right.
The wrestler.
Goldberg.
Okay, he's the one that hit the hay bales in the NASCAR truck.
I was able to get the Alpina, brand new Alpina Rare as rocking horse, went right in front of the members' grandstand, and got pulled out in 2 pieces. So
not ideal.
No,
it's not going to sell safety features.
No, he didn't. So Alister, and lastly while we're here, the next 12 to 18 months, hopefully coronavirus, knock on wood, doesn't completely put the world in disarray, but hey, early days. What's on your calendar of events coming up? Where can we find you? What can we see you doing?
I'm not really sure. At the moment, I should have been going to Targa and then back to the UK for Rally Day, then Goodwood. There's an event in Scotland in October, which is what's the McRae Challenge. It's a McRae Rally back then, so that would be myself, Max and my dad, so the 3 of us doing that. Then potentially Silver Fern in November down in New Zealand. Next year I don't know, just 1 year at a time, but it just obviously depends on what happens over the next few months as to how many events continue to run and whether I need to start drinking Peroni.
Well put. So, and look, lastly, thank you, Alister, for being here. I think I'm sort of done with the questioning at the moment. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, where can we find more info? I know you have a very good YouTube channel, and where can we find information about yourself and the Driver Risk Management Centre?
And social media.
Social media.
I'm not good with all that stuff. You young guys just Google things, do you not? No, I mean, we've obviously Driver Risk Management's got Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, website.
We'll put it in the notes of the show anyway, so people, if they're listening to the podcast, go to the notes for the show. They'll all be there. Yeah,
I think we can find you at Alister McRae Motorsport on Facebook.
That's the one.
And then alistermcrae.com.
Yep.
And on Instagram, I think you're Alister McRae again. Are you? Or McRae Motorsport?
I don't actually know. Alister McRae, I think.
Oh, there you go.
He's got a 15-year-old son for all that.
Yeah. I'm saying Max is on there under Max McRae.
18.
There you go.
I know that much. Yeah.
Good work. Good work, Dad.
I'm a bit old school.
Yeah. So we'll try and endeavour to catch up with you in the near future, see what you're up to and what's happening, and
I suspect we're all going to have some free time.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some free time. So
Alister, it's been a real pleasure. Thanks for coming in. We really enjoyed it.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you, Alister.
All right.
Thank you,
guys.
Cheers.
See ya.
Yeah.
Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.